Here is your latest African news. Your news highlights. Guinea. Clashes erupt in Conakry after opposition call for anti-military government protest. Mali. Mali calls for Emergency Security Council meeting on French acts of aggression. Algeria. At least 26 dead in Algeria forest fires. Southern Africa. Democratic Republic of Congo President Tshisekedi takes over from Chakwera to lead the Southern African Development Community. Ethiopia. Ethiopian government proposes plan for peace in war-torn Tigray. Angola. Southern Court awards custody of Dos Santos' body to widow. Diaspora. U.S. gun laws and South Florida ports helped fuel Haiti's escalating gang violence. Diaspora. African-American parents accuse LA elementary school of traumatizing their daughter with cotton-picking project. Guinea. Opposition call for anti-military government protest. Dozens of young men clashed with security forces in Guinea's capital Conakry on August 18th after an opposition alliance called for protest against the ruling military government. Demonstrators in a Flashpoint suburb reportedly hurled stone at police, who replied with tear gas. Police were said to have been heavily deployed around the city, and in many districts, markets and shops were closed in the morning as traders feared violence. Demonstrations had been called by the National Front for the Defense of the Constitution (FNDC), a coalition of political parties, trade unions and civil society organizations which the military government ordered to be shut down earlier this month. Guinea has been ruled by the military since a coup last September that ousted President Alpha Conde, who held power since 2010. In May, the military government banned all protest and on 6th August decreed the dissolution of the FNDC. The alliance staged rallies on 28th and 29th July in which 5 people were killed and called for peaceful demonstrations for 17th August. The FNDC spearheaded protest against Conde while he was in power, especially targeting his bid for a third term in office that it said was unconstitutional. Doumbouya has pledged to hand over power to elected civilians within 3 years, a timeline that the Economic Community of West African States want to be shorter. Mali. Mali calls for an Emergency Security Council meeting on French acts of aggression. Mali has asked the UN Security Council for an emergency meeting to stop what it describes as acts of aggression by France in the form of violations of its sovereignty, support for terrorist groups and spying. A letter serving this purpose was presented to journalists by the Malian Ministry of Foreign Affairs on August 18th, addressed by the head of diplomacy, Abdoulaye Diop, to the Chinese presidency of the Security Council. The letter read that Mali reserves the right to use self-defense if French actions persist in accordance with the UN Charter. The letter dated August 15th, the date of the departure of the last French soldier in Mali after 9 years of military occupation. The military government in power in Mali since August 2020 has turned away from France and its allies to Russia. Mr. Diop denounced in the letter the repetitive and frequent violations of the national airspace by French forces and the flights of French aircraft engaged in activities considered as espionage and attempts to intimidate. Malian authorities have several pieces of evidence that these flagrant violations of Malian airspace were used by France to collect intelligence for terrorist groups operating in the Sahel and to drop arms and ammunition to them. The text added, French authorities are yet to respond to these accusations. Southern Africa. Democratic Republic of Congo President Tshisekedi takes over from Chakwera to lead Southern African Development Community. Felix Tshisekedi took the helm of the Southern African Development Community during the 42nd Ordinary Summit of Heads of State and Government of the organization, which was held in Kinshasa from August 17th and 18th, 2022. He succeeds Lazarus Chakwera, President of the Republic of Malawi. The outgoing South African Development Community President called upon member countries to be independent of external influence, especially the Democratic Republic of Congo. The Kinshasa Summit, which hosted a dozen South African development communities Community Heads of State reviewed progress in regional integration in line with South African Development Community aspirations, which envision an industrialized, peaceful, inclusive, competitive, middle to high income region where all citizens enjoy sustainable economic well-being. The Congolese head of state is also the current president of the Economic Community of Central African States. The question of the Rwandan presence on Congolese soil was also raised, knowing that it is Angola in the name of the ICRGL and the African Union, also a member of the SADC, which is leading part of the negotiation between Kinshasa and Kigali. Ethiopia. The Ethiopian government proposes a plan for peace in Tigray. The Ethiopian government has called for a formal Tigray ceasefire agreement to be reached as soon as possible to enable the resumption of basic services to the northern region. A committee established in June to explore the possibility of talks with Tigrayan rebels said on August 18th it had drawn up a peace proposal to try to end the war that erupted in November 2020. The announcement came on the same day that the head of the World Health Organization and TPLF operative falsely described the situation in Tigray as the worst humanitarian crisis in the world, in which the government called the statement unethical. The TPLF has long insisted that basic services would have to be restored to the region of 6 million people before dialogue could begin. Fighting has eased in northern Ethiopia since a truce was declared at the end of March, allowing the resumption of aid convoys to Tigray after a break of 3 months. Ethiopia's northmost region has suffered desperate food shortages due to the TPLF terrorist theft and control of aid, which was used to force Tigrayans to fight in its military. Ethiopia's peace committee meanwhile said it would submit its peace proposal to the African Union. Angola. Spanish court awards custody of Dos Santos' body to widow. A Spanish court has allowed the body of Angola's former president José Eduardo dos Santos to be repatriated. It has also awarded custody of the body to his widow, Ana Paula dos Santos. Dos Santos, 79, died on July 8th in Barcelona, where he was seeking medical treatment. The former First Lady Ana Paula was married to dos Santos in 1992, and together they have 4 children. Meanwhile, Chais dos Santos, one of dos Santos' daughters, said she will appeal the decision. She argues that the custody of the former head of state's body should be awarded to his son because Ana Paula was not with their father from 2017. The Spanish court maintained that Ana Paula dos Santos has legitimacy because she did not divorce the former leader. Last month, dos Santos' children agreed to have their father buried in Luanda, but only after the August 24th general elections. Diaspora. U.S. gun laws in South Florida ports helped fuel Haiti's escalating gang violence. Haitian gangs are buying unprecedented quantities of high-powered rifles at shops in Florida and smuggling them out of the U.S., fueling a wave of violence that is destabilizing the Caribbean nation. U.S. law enforcement officials have said in the last few months, federal agents have seen a surge in arms being sent illegally from Florida to Haiti. A United Nations report estimated in 2021 over 370,000 illicit firearms circulated in Haiti, while the National Commission for Disarmament, Dismantling and Reintegration in Haiti estimated that number to be as high as 500,000. As the world's largest firearm suppliers, the United States is a major source of illegal weapons smuggled into Haiti. Due to its lenient gun purchasing laws and its proximity to the Caribbean, the state of Florida is a top supplier. Case in point, in 2019, a Florida gun shop owner was accused of conspiring with Haitian government officials, including a senator, to smuggle 166 semi-automatic firearms into the Caribbean country. In another recent example, in early 2021, a former U.S. Marine was convicted of smuggling guns into Haiti in his luggage as part of a foiled plot to train members of the Haitian army and become the country's president. He too used fake papers to pass himself off as a colonel. The proliferation and expansion of gangs in Haiti is likely increasing the internal demand for weapons. These groups' demand for weapons was seen in a June gang raid of 6 police stations in Port-au-Prince, in which gang members allegedly sought to steal police weapons. Diaspora. African-American parents accuse LA Elementary School of traumatizing their daughter with a cotton-picking project. An African-American mother has filed a lawsuit against Los Angeles Unified School District, the LAUSD, in state court last week over an elementary school project that she says involves students picking cotton to learn about slavery. In the lawsuit, Rashunda Pitts calls the project culturally insensitive and says her daughter has suffered extreme emotional distress as a result of the assignment, which Pitts says terrified her daughter. Filed in LA Supreme Court, the lawsuit alleges that the LAUSD and Laurel Span School, the elementary school Pitt's daughter was attending, that has since closed and been replaced by Laurel Cinematic Arts creative tech magnate, humiliated her by having her participate in an antebellum project. The project led to her child experiencing anxiety attacks and other symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder. The suit says, Pitt says she first noticed her daughter showing signs of distress when she became very quiet and reserved for a 2-week period in September 2017 when the project was underway, according to the suit. About a month later, Pitts noticed a cotton field had been planted at her daughter's school while dropping her off and brought it to the attention of the associate principal. The associate principal explained that students in her daughter's class were reading an autobiography by Frederick Douglass in which Douglass discusses picking cotton, and the field was planted for students to have a real-life experience of what it was like to be an enslaved person, the suit says. Pitts said in the lawsuit that she should have been informed about the cotton picking project beforehand and that the process brought the daughter great trauma. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, follow, share and like our video. It's the best way of supporting us. And remember, Africa is watching.